Gonna call the meeting to order. 6:31. We've got, okay, why don't you sound off for attendance? We'll have to do this because we're doing this way.
Donna Barak. I can hear.
Yeah, okay. Sandy, you there?
Sandy, yep, Sandy Slavin.
Malcolm White.
And Jim Gibberti. And we have got Guy Campina and Russ Kleekamp. Also,
6:32.
okay. Do we have meeting minutes?
Yes,
Both.
Mr. Chair, I have reviewed the minutes of October 22nd and make a motion to accept them as presented.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
1, 2 for Donna, aye, yes, Sandy,
Yes.
Jim. 4-0-0. And we have meeting minutes from the 12th.
Yes, Mr. Chair, I have reviewed the minutes of November 12th, 2020, and make a motion to be accepted as presented. Donna and Peter were not there.
Okay, so Mac, can you second those?
I'll second that. Yep.
Okay, and all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so that's 3-1-0. Is that what it is?
Yep.
Citizens participation. Is there anybody out there that wants to climb in?
Yeah, they have the wrong Zoom information, so they couldn't get it if they tried.
Makes it go smoother.
They complain that the meeting's not valid.
All right, sewer business, we've got contract renewals. South Shore Generator,
Yeah,
I make a motion that we accept the South Shore Generator contract as is.
And I'd like to add that the cost is $13,960 on that motion.
correct,
Yes.
and it's for, this is for fiscal year, it's with an option to renew for up to 2 years.
A correction, if you look at the sheet itself,
Yeah.
the total was $13,960, but we deducted $424 because we have some other contracts for generators. And so the total cost of that contract is $13,535.
935,
$13,535 is the total cost of that contract.
535.
I'm sorry, Guy, where does it say we deducted?
If you look on page 4, but then go to the very end, all the way to the back, and you'll see a list. It ends. And then you'll see $13,960. Then you see we deducted $425.
Yes, I do.
So our total is
Okay.
$13,535.
13,535.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I have a
I second.
motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 4-0-0. Next, we have Wright Pierce, the narrows forced main replacement.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, what happened to this contract is we're renewing it. Last year, we had 2 contracts, one for $95,000 and one for $97,000. We asked to amend the contract to add $97,000 to it. What was done in accounting was they made everything worth $97,000 and dropped the contract. So this year's budget, I have $150,000 to complete the work. I had $35,000 that we borrowed from last year, which makes a grand total of $187,000. So we're writing a new contract to continue with that completion of the design of the force main for Narrows, coming from Narrows Pump Station to the treatment facility.
So the cost is $187,000.
That is correct. Total cost of the contract is $187,000. It'll be funded out of capital and what they call encumbrances.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? No. 4-0.
Okay, Jimmy, who made the motion and who made the second?
Yeah, I wasn't paying attention there. Donna, did you make the motion, Donna?
No, I didn't. I thought Sandy did. I didn't know.
No, I didn't.
No, I
you were
didn't.
talking about it. Okay, we'll start over on this. Can I have a motion for this?
So moved.
Sandy's made the motion.
Second.
Second,
Okay.
second by Mac. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Ayes, 4-0-0.
Aye.
And Mac. Okay. That was cute.
Mr. Chair, can I ask a question? We've got several other contracts in our packet, but they're not on the agenda.
I think it comes on the contract renewals. There's 3 of them. So I think it's that one. I think it was electricity. I think it was the trailer. Those 3 should be.
But sorry, under contract renewals, we only have South Shore Generator.
It should have been the others under that too. But they all come under contract renewals. You have 3 contract renewals.
Mr. Chair, they're not listed.
Yeah.
Well, then I guess we're gonna have to take it under number 6.
Well, it says contract renewals. That would be more than one.
Yep.
I hear your point, but it does say more than one.
And I'm going to stick to what the agenda says. It's not listed.
Okay, but I get it. It just says renewals, which would be more than one. So she put A and she didn't put B, C, but that's fine. It is what it is.
She didn't put C, D, or E. Okay.
Well, just there's only 3 renewals. The other ones are regular contracts, as I believe. Like Pierce, the sewer modeling is a new
Leave it up to
contract.
I'll leave it up to Chair as to whether how he wants to consider them,
Whatever.
but I don't know how we can address them.
I think okay, let's, the ones that you're questioning right now, wait a minute, contract, Wright Pierce is done.
Just correction, the contract renewal.
GHD, and what is the other one here?
That's not a renewal. The only other renewals are the renewal of the multi-state electrical contract, which we have a right to renew for a year. That didn't get put on the contract renewals. And the other one is DR Warren Enterprise for the office trailer. That didn't get on because that's a renewal. Those are the 2 that.
Mr. Chair, there's somebody giving us echoes.
Yeah, I can hear that. I don't know who it is or what it is.
So those are the 2. So those are the 2 that say, she is saying not to discuss.
Okay, let's put them aside for a second.
The other side.
Okay, we've got South Shore Generator. South Shore Generator is done.
Yes, because that was on the list.
Multi-state electric is not.
Nope, because it's not on the list on the contract
Okay.
renewals.
And Wright Pierce is done. So those 2 done.
Correct.
Okay. We'll go down the list with the moment here. The next is increased flow moratorium. Well,
That's a discussion. We just wanted, that's just a clarification of what our moratorium is. The question comes up is if somebody, and we had discussed, but if somebody had a sewer lateral, the place was demolished, they would have the right to put it back up, no matter, even during the moratorium, because that flow was already accounted for. And I just want to make sure we're all on the same page because I'm getting a lot of those. There's a lot of buildings that are down. and been down for years. And now the people coming forward, putting them back up. And so we can allow those because those gallons are already accounted for many years. I just want to make sure we're all on the same page.
Yeah, I don't see any problem.
I don't either.
Not a problem. Technically, it's not really new.
That's right, because there's an existing
there.
lateral.
It's there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I just want to make sure we're on the same page because
I think you got it.
okay. Oh, because they come from the ZBA and then I get calls saying, hey, I thought there was a moratorium. Harry put his up. How come I can't put mine up? I just want to make sure the public's aware that these are existing laterals. For some reason, the building was demolished years ago, whatever the case may be. And now they're moving forward and putting them back online. Okay.
And that flow has already been accounted for.
It's been accounted for years. Okay. That's all I want to say about unless anybody has anything else to say about the flow moratorium.
Sewer modeling.
Sewer modeling. That's well, it's remember the airplane models, kind of like that. This is under the we got a Buzzards Bay Coalition got a grant to model the entire town of Wareham sewer system, and our contribution, which we agreed to a while ago, is $30,000, which is coming out of the Walmart fund. And the goal here is to model every single sewer line in the town of Wareham, the manholes, the pump stations. So we'll have a complete handle and an understanding of our sewer system, its strengths, its weaknesses. And what it'll allow us to do in the future is to just look at the model itself. If we want to add flow, we can look at the model and see the weaknesses, see the strengths, and then we can actually make recommendations or impacts that contractors may have to address. And I think Russ can probably elaborate, but that's a general idea of what we're doing here in the sewer modeling program.
Russ?
Yes, absolutely right, Guy. And thank you to the board. Good evening, Russ Kleekamp, engineer with GHD. What we're talking about is just that, the sewer modeling for the entire town of Wareham, the existing sewer infrastructure. Why this is mostly beneficial for the town is that when you have a development like, Woodland Cove or this development or that development, rather than saying, okay, what's the impact to our sewer system and having to do this long drawn out 3-month engineering assessment of the downstream pump stations and pipes, it's a very straightforward assessment. You can enter the proposed flow in a manhole, you can run the model, and it will show you which pipes are overwhelmed. It will show you which manholes are surcharging. And it very rapidly and effectively indicates the overwhelmed infrastructure for any sort of proposed development. So it's an excellent management tool for existing sewer systems. It's very helpful for proposed sewer systems. If you have an area that you're looking to expand sewer to and you want to say, I think it was, what was it, Guy? Eagle Hill or Eagle Park or the area.
Littleton Drive, or which one you talk? I don't know, Littleton, or we're looking at expanding in our next comprehensive wastewater management plan along Route 28, along the Agawam, which is yeah, I get it wrong all the time too. It's the one there on the left, Whippoorwill and that type of thing. It's Gateway Shores is one of them. So if we go into look at bringing that into our system, we can see what our system can handle and design it properly, because there's other areas, especially when we're seeking permission to expand the flow into the river, and they're going to make us offset it. And we look at the areas we have to offset, whether it's going to be Shangri-La or area, and wherever we go, we'll be able to see how it connects to our system and what's the impact of the system that we're going to bring. It's an excellent tool for the future.
If I can for a moment, I'm just going to try to share my screen real quick. I'll show you an example of one we just did for the town of Harwich. Let's see if this works. Is the host listening? If they can enable my screen sharing?
Yeah, that would be
if that's possible.
Hey, Bob? Steve? Help?
Nope. I think it let me. I think it let me do it here.
I guess we're in trouble.
Nope, Steve just came in. Yep.
There we
There you
go.
go.
There we go.
If you see, Google, and the nice thing about the model is you can drop it right into Google Earth. So dinosaurs like myself that, are not technically savvy, we can just zoom in and out with the wheel. But this is something we did for the town of Harwich, but it'll be a very similar result for Wareham, is you can put in all your manholes, and when you simply click on it, it gives you all the information, your invert depths, the size of the manhole, the flow into it, the flow out of it. You can click on a pipe, and it gives you the pipe. It tells you what the flow is going through it, the flow inside the pipe. You can set these attributes up so it shows the remaining capacity, which is tremendously helpful. And, then you can zoom out, you can color code it. These manholes are color coded to depth, but you can color code it based on flow, fullness, whatever you want it, however you want to set it up. And it's really a slick application. The original budget a few years ago, when we proposed to do this for the town, I believe was $80,000, and through use of interns and grants, we were able to get that cost down to $30,000, which is what is being presented tonight. So it's a really good funding opportunity, and it's going to provide a tremendous tool for the town to use.
I agree.
Oh, yeah, we need it.
Question,
Yes, Sandy, go.
the Appendix A talks about what they're going to do. It talks about providing them with water usage. Is that for what type of time period?
We have recent water usage, so he'll get those tapes.
I know, I'm sorry, I'm asking what period? Is the water usage for 6 months, 9 months, a year?
We got a year. I think we got more than 1 year. I'll look at the tape.
From both?
We just got both recently, and we have that water usage, and they can use that water usage to help them with their modeling.
So there's a water
Yeah.
use for each parcel that is
Correct.
hooked up to the sewer. And
That's
I just I'm hoping that the water usage numbers from Wareham is the same time frame as the water usage from Onset, i.e. 12 months, as opposed to 6 or something lower.
I believe there are multi-years to eliminate that problem. I believe we asked for multi-years, but I will verify that.
Well, I only want to make sure that we're using 1 year from both sources as opposed to 19 months or 9 months or something.
Whatever, yeah, absolutely. And if let's say they're not in line, because let's say Onset bills, this year was annual because they had some computer glitches, computer updates, and Wareham does it every month, but it's for the course of the year, then it's up to the person inputting this information to make sure it lines up, consistently so they can
Okay,
get.
so,
So that's
yeah,
up-
so that we're using 12 months. And it does not have to be the same 12 months as long as it's 12 months. Okay.
the engineers will figure that out because they have to plug it in for actual.
I was just asking the question because it wasn't clear in Appendix A, the time period for the water flow.
Or it could be a 3-year average, whatever they decide to use. Plus, they can back it up with historical data also, but
Okay,
it's gonna be on them. We can provide them everything we have, and they'll take what they need to make sure they get.
so they're looking at 30,000 from Wareham and 25,000 from the coalition.
Yeah, something like that.
Correct.
That is correct.
Okay. Who puts this together, Guy?
I'm sorry?
Who puts this together? Who's the entity?
GHD is, and they purchase a program.
Okay.
Yeah, the modeling, it's called SewerCAD. It's by Bentley. It's a fairly universal software for the engineering industry. And I used to do it. I'll be overseeing it. We have engineers that will put the modeling. For the water use, we leave it a little vague because we reach out to the water departments and get their Excel spreadsheets of user accounts. We typically look at the previous 5 years, if available. And at that time, we'll have a meeting with Guy and go over. We typically pick the highest of the last 5 years to be conservative. We go through and eliminate anomalies and things like that. So that's part of what we do. That's actually the most labor intensive part of this is hashing out the.
All right. So Russ, you guys are in the wheelhouse on it. And obviously, as things change, someone's got to update it. Are we on the preferred customer list? We get a discount, Russ?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, we do models for a lot of towns, and yeah, we update. Usually, if a new development comes online, it's so easy and efficient to do. If it's just 1 or 2 developments,
Okay.
we just do it. I mean, if it's a major, and as we design, if we design proposed sewers, we always update it accordingly. Like for Chatham, we design all the and we automatically repopulate the model. It just goes without saying. So, yep, we
It
will.
sounds like a good way to streamline some of the BS. So.
It
Absolutely.
is very useful.
Facts. It's facts. And then it eliminates that controversy of impact studies. And everybody says, we don't want to do it. You do it. I have to do one. You don't have to do one. We're very selective. There's no consistency on our impact study programs. So this is going to give some consistency. We've already paid for it. It's done. And then any impact, then the business will be responsible to mitigate that impact. But at least we'll have it.
I'm comfortable with it.
I am too.
I think
So
it
I
has
make
a
a-
lot of value, so.
I make a motion that we approve the contract for the GHD sewer modeling of Wareham sewer collection system for $30,000.
Second.
All in favor?
I,
Aye.
Aye. 400. Now we have a grant discussion. I believe that's going to be Russ is going to explain that to us.
Yes, it's yeah, he's been working hard on it. Russ is, I'm surprised he's here. I thought he already blew his cork, but we had a meeting. Yeah, I think it was yesterday or today. I don't know when we had the meeting, but the information was overwhelming. So I'll let Russ take it over. It's a pretty involved, pretty intense, and a really timely grant. Great opportunity. It's expensive, but it's going to save us probably $1 million, $1.5 million. But anyways, I'll let Russ take it over. Thanks, Russ.
Sure.
You got the
Sure.
floor.
Thanks, guys. So, thank you very much. So, if the board remembers, we've had multiple grants through CZM to propose improvements to the 3 priority pump stations in town. Narrows Pump Station, which serves Toby Hospital, police and fire, numerous residential and commercial entities. That's one of the priority pump stations. Heinz Field, and also Cohasset Narrows that collects Bourne and a lot of areas around there, a few residential neighborhoods. So all these pump stations are in the floodplain, and there's some improvements to do to the stations to help make them floodproof in the event of a coastal storm, natural disaster, things of that nature. So we were lucky to get funding through CZM to do the final design. The projects are truly shovel ready. We have the design and permits done. And CZM was kind enough to notify us about a new funding opportunity through FEMA, which is called the BRIC, B-R-I-C. It's Building Resilient Infrastructure Communities. And if I understand correctly, Massachusetts was given 44. It's a national grant, but it's divided up to all the states. And I believe Massachusetts was given $44 million. And this is the exact type of project that this sort of grant funds. The few catches are the towns, you have to have an approved hazard mitigation plan, which Wareham is very close to getting. We just need, that was one of the documents that we've been working on with the planning department and Woods Hole Group. That document just needs to get final comments back from FEMA. We've already gotten it through MEMA, the Massachusetts Emergency Management Act. And then the Wareham Board of Selectmen needs to approve that plan or adopt that plan prior to December 30th. We have a little bit more time after that if we absolutely have to, but ideally before December 30th would be good
Russ,
to get
sorry,
that plan
what was the
adopted.
name of,
Yes.
was that name of that again?
The hazard
Or the
mitigation plan?
document- So the document we haven't completed yet,
Hazard mitigation plan.
hazard and mitigation.
Hazard mitigation.
Jason.
Keep in mind that the selectmen are not meeting the last 2 weeks in December. So this coming Tuesday is the only meeting you have before December 30th.
Well, this hazard mitigation plan is in the hands of planning, would be Ken. And I am not so sure what his communication has been with the selectmen. That's we could ask a question. And the emails went out today, talking about the deadlines. So I guess Ken is going to have to get on the selectmen's list. I'll have to email Ken tomorrow.
I don't know what they're gonna do. This agenda for Tuesday's already been posted,
I get it. Well,
and so there won't be one until January.
they may have to use that 48-hour unanticipated because it's that quick.
This has been in the works for how many years? Sorry, how many months? You're gonna use it as a 48? Okay,
Well, because it's been planned and not done. So when you say, what I'm saying is that it's actually coming to fruition. We've been working on this plan. I'm
All
going
right,
to
well-
maybe 8 years.
okay, we'll see how the selectmen handle it, but I
Yeah,
just
that's on
wanted to
them.
let
That's
you
up to
know,
them.
we're down to one meeting before the end of the year.
Yeah, it's beyond us. It's beyond us.
And Russ, if we don't get all the approval by December 30th, do we lose the grant?
No, we can still, the grant's actually due tomorrow. I was trying to submit it tonight and the online system crashed. Lucky me. No, I put it in the app. You can still submit the application with a note saying the hazard mitigation plan will be approved by this date. And I was actually told by MEMA for the purposes of the brick application, it's actually later on in January. So if it has to get pushed to a meeting in early January,
Okay,
that should be acceptable. It sounds
Thank
like
you.
that might be our option. If for some
Yeah.
reason we can do it sooner, that's great. But obviously not if the board's not meeting. That will be not possible.
okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So the grant is a 75% grant and a 25% match. So it comes down to the question of, I'm going to share my screen again here and pull up the cost estimate and go over what these costs are. Share screen. No, bear with me one second. Come on. Oh, share. So this is, can everyone see the Excel spreadsheet?
Yeah.
So I'll try to blow this up a little bit.
Yeah, that's better.
That's good.
So right down here, this bottom number of everything, this is broken into the 3 columns for the narrows, Heinz Field, Cohasset narrows, for all the different mechanical, architectural, structural, so on and so forth. We have a construction cost subtotal, which is this first gray row for the 3 stations. This is the engineering required during construction for the construction phase services and engineering oversight. You add it up, you get your total project cost of $2.2 million is what I'm putting in for the budget for the grant.
Mhm.
So if we look at our breakdown, the grant asks to separate construction and engineering, but the overall number, 2.2 million, the grant will be for 1.65, and the responsible match from the town will be $550,000. And I'm putting an available date of June 1st, 2021.
Okay.
FEMA is a little elusive on the exact start date of this because it has to go through multiple layers of review. But the town obviously needs to appropriate funds on a fiscal year basis. So the amount of funding we're looking for is $550,000 to serve as the 25% cash match.
Okay, that's doable. That's doable.
We'll have to look at funding, whether we go to town meeting for retained earnings or if we put it into the budget actual. I asked some questions yesterday, and because of fiscally, if I put it into my capital budget and fiscal, if it doesn't get done by June, end of June, I lose the funding. So we're looking at the best way to approach it. And I think they were suggesting, we all agreed that it may be wiser as soon as the grants are awarded and then the paperwork's completed, and then it's going to go out to contract. Then long as we have our match, then we can go to town meeting, whether it's spring or fall, and get the 550 to match the cost of the grant, at least, and then we'll have some hard numbers. But that's what we're looking at right now.
And this is just the summary. We gave this presentation a while back, but this just shows these are the 3 stations. These are the 100-year floods that they hit the station. So obviously it's going to be wipe out the infrastructure. Some of the improvements are floodproof doors. I'm just going to go through this fairly quickly. We evaluated flood planks, but we're not going to do those we're going to do the floodproof doors instead. And I think we have some other here, like this photograph. Bear with me here. This is the inside of one of the pump stations. This metal interior bracing is not there, but this is what we propose to do on the inside of the stations. If water levels come up on the outside, the hydrostatic pressure could collapse the station, so we need some interior bracing. This is for Heinz and Narrows. It's a non-reinforced concrete masonry unit, basically cinder blocks. For the Cohasset Narrows, we're looking to put some carbon fiber reinforcements in there because it does have structurally reinforced concrete masonry units. adding larger fuel tanks to generators to get a full 48 hours of runtime in the event of an emergency. And then obviously relocating conduits and waterproofing conduits, things like that. So that's really it in a nutshell.
Hey, Russ,
Questions?
there's 2.2 million, Russ. This is all engineering?
No, this is the actual construction.
And it-
1.9 million of it is for construction costs.
Okay,
300,000 is for engineering.
okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Are you looking for us to support the grant?
The $550,000?
Yes, I like to, but so we're applying, yes, absolutely, absolutely.
Well, I make a motion that we support submitting it to the town for the $550,000.
Do I have a second?
Second for discussion. I thought we were just going to, if we're just going to support the submitting of the grant and then a separate motion for the dollar amount.
Well, don't we have to have a committal from the town for the 550? Don't we?
Yes, but
Yes,
We have to do that no matter what, the 550. That's what I thought. We were looking to get the 550 because that's the only thing that's going to affect the town.
we haven't approved the submitting of the grant.
well, she was putting it all in one motion. I think you want to put two motions. She was
Okay.
saying, she wanted to authorize submitting the grant and the amount of the money. She wanted to make one motion. That's all she was doing.
That's all. That's exactly right.
And tell me the source of the 550,000 again?
Bake sale.
Well, actually, I was gonna ask the library. They will allow us to have something there. So it could be, so I retain earnings, whether it's in my actual budget or out of retained earnings from town meeting. If we get the grant, then we'll move forward. If we don't get the grant, then we're moot.
Wait a
Right.
minute. We have, if we're going to approve the grant being submitted, we have to be able to say where we're getting the 550,000 from.
Retained earnings.
And how much do we have in retained earnings?
I forget, it was 5 point something million last I knew. So that was like 6 months ago. I don't think we spent the whole lot in the last 6
So
months.
this is nothing to, but why do we have to go back to town meeting? You mentioned.
Well, because we all monies that we own that's not in the budget, expenditure budget, has to come to town meeting. And
That's
so
right.
the grant is going to be applied for. We're not going to get an answer probably January. No, I don't even we're going to get an answer by the end of the year. Once we get an answer and we're approved, then we'll go to town meeting, whether spring or fall, and get the funding.
Now, wait a minute. If we
We'll
don't
go
get it
then to
approved
get the approval.
Sorry. If we don't get our approval from town meeting, what happens to this grant?
Like everything else, we don't get approval next Saturday, then we don't get our SR funding also. Same thing, same scenario. It's just that we're presenting a case, and we hope that ratepayers and voters, ratepayers are voters because most voters aren't ratepayers, but that's another story. At least we're hoping that they understand what we're doing and agree. It's a potluck.
Guy, you're going to have to slow down your
Okay.
speech. You're cutting out on us.
I'm sorry. You got right. Here's the thing. The 12th, we're going to town meeting for approval to borrow $9 million.
Yes.
We've already, for the last 2 years, moved forward on this process. We've agreed to it. We're doing it. Now we need town. If town meeting says you can't have it, we've wasted 2 years of time and probably some money. So it's the exact same scenario. I don't want to go get the money until we get the grant approved. And when we get approval, we'll go to town meeting again, explain to the public what we're trying to accomplish. And I'm telling you, with a good fortune, we should get it. If we don't, then Sandy, then we don't get it. We lose.
Okay. Do we have this project on your capital plan?
Well, yes, we do. We've been doing this for 5 years, rehabbing those pump stations resiliency. absolutely. We've done one at a time through funding, through coastal zone management. We've discussed it through capital planning and other places for many years.
So I will find this 550,000 on your capital plan.
You're not going to find the 550. No, you're not. You're not.
Okay,
The grant is new. It's something brand new. That's new. And we're following up on all the work we've done in the other grants, which is rehabbing these pump stations to make them resilient.
then would I see the 2.2 million, which is the cost in engineering on your capital plan?
No, 1,000,009 is engineering.
Nine, but I don't know. We talked about rehabbing these long time ago, Sandy, and we did the grants through.
No, but
Those numbers are out there. I don't know if they're still there. I don't know. I can't answer that question. I can't answer.
okay.
Wait a minute, Guy, as I understand the way this thing is going, first of all, this grant is a new thing to begin with.
That is correct.
This isn't something that's been in the works going forward, so there wouldn't be any history behind it in any paperwork that you're going to look at, Sandy. We have a grant potential available that Russ is filing the paperwork on. It's a matching grant of which 25% is our responsibility, which is $550,000. So those numbers
I get
will
that,
not
Jimmy.
be available anyplace for you to back
But
up.
should we see something called resiliency, work on these 3 pump stations for flood control?
That will
as a
be in
capital
the,
plan?
that will be in the capital plan that was presented 3 or 4 years ago, I
So
believe.
it should still be
Is
there.
that right, Guy?
Yes, we've presented it multiple times. So they should. You tell me. I don't know.
Well, all we
discussed
have,
it, you know what I mean? So we've done this.
the numbers
All
will
I'm
be,
saying.
the numbers will be in there. They're not going to match up with the numbers we're dealing with right now.
I get
That's
that.
correct.
I get
That's
that.
correct.
I was looking for the project to be listed.
Yeah, the project is probably going to be listed under more than one spot. Is that
Okay.
right, Guy?
Remember, we
Because-
applied for 3 to 4 grants to get to this point.
No, I'm not talking about the grant. I'm not talking about the grants, Guy. I'm talking about the capital improvement plan.
No, I understand that. We talked
that-
about the
and
capital improvement.
the capital improvement plan that you presented to us 3 or 4 years ago, which was something in the $8 or $10 million category, which it encompassed
100
every
million.
pump station. Yeah, that's it. You know,
100 million. It's definitely in that plan. Absolutely.
it was already in the
Okay.
plan.
Yes.
Then
we've been-
I'm comfortable to
Now we're
second
parting out a
Donna's
part.
motion.
See, we're carving out a piece of it right now.
That's correct.
I'm comfortable with seconding Donna's motion.
So we have a motion and we have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye,
Aye.
4-0-0. Go forward.
So the motion was to support the grant and to authorize the 550,000.
Correct.
Yeah, because I
Exactly.
understand, if I'm correct, Russ, we have to have, at least we have to have the ability to come up with a 550,000 in order to be able to get the grant. If we don't have the 550,
Correct.
we can't get the grant.
That's right.
Okay.
Correct. Correct.
This is nothing more than again, an authorization to go forward if, everything is an if.
If we get the grant.
If we get the grant, we go forward with the 550. Okay. Any other discussion, questions? Sandy, you got that look. You got that look that Alan said that you were going to give him a present tonight. And you weren't
That's
going to
why that's why he's in another room. Okay.
Okay, now that's it. Okay, now we have any sewer business not reasonably anticipated. We'll go under these contracts
Yeah.
that somehow slipped by the wayside. And we have multi-state electric. There's a contract renewal.
Make a motion, we approve the multi-state electric service and materials work for WPCF renewal at $90 an hour.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Max, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, 4-0-0. And we have,
I gotta apologize. Lee is out. She's got, Lee's out. Let's just leave it at that. And she put this together, but it's $650 a month for that trailer, and she did not include that into the contract. She only put the cover page, and she only put the signature page, and the town's approval page.
So that's $650 a month?
Yes, for the trailer.
That
Yes.
was my first cost. That was my first question. What's the cost of this contract? And you just answered it.
Sweet.
I make a motion, we approve the DR Warren Enterprises Office Trailer Rental Renewal at $650 a month.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
4-0-0. Okay, and
What you guys just.
I'm
approved.
sorry.
sewer model.
Alan was talking to me. I made the motion. Who seconded it?
Donna.
Donna,
Thank you.
Bye.
Yes, goodbye.
bring back some cannolis, Alan.
Now, our landline has been in and out almost 2 weeks now. So the repairman was here earlier, so when I stepped away, I apologize.
Did you
We're
pay
trying
your
to
bill?
get our, oh, funny. We don't know why it keeps cutting out. He'll be back tomorrow.
He's replacing everything.
Must have been
Okay.
from the vote.
It's not good.
And our internet keeps going in and out. So if you lose me, you know I've lost my internet again.
Okay,
And
the
that will make everybody very happy.
sewer modeling is done, okay.
Nobody's
Next.
commenting. You guys, Mac, look at you.
Come on, Sandy, for Christ's sakes.
Jesus.
You do your
Yeah.
job, Sandy. You do your job.
Mhm.
Total line. We total line.
That's right.
It's okay. If she goes
Nothing
away, I
wrong
can
with that.
replace it.
You got to
Okay.
remind us, Sandy.
That phone just kicked out again.
Sewer superintendent's report. Guy, you got the floor.
Yes. In your packet, I put an FYI for Littleton Drive.
Mhm.
So I want to explain it. I'm going to send, as I discuss things with, Littleton Drive, you also have a thing about a new map for the Woodland Cove project. They have to go back in front of ZBA and change the planning, have a new connection higher up because they couldn't demolish they had come to us 2 or 3 months ago and said they had to reroute it, but they had to go through zoning. And so I think I sent you the reschedule of what the flow is going to be, et cetera, et cetera. I
No.
put those things in there so as we progress along, you're aware. No decisions for Littleton have been made. We haven't granted flow. We've done nothing, but there's a lot of discussion going on. Things like, are we going to put grinder pumps? Because this is a long-term project. It may be 2 to 3 years out before it gets done. But in the interim, we're going to discuss a lot of things. And so I'll bring it to the board. I'll let you guys know. So if there's anything you want to add, take away, whatever the case may be. I think there's a zoning meeting coming up. I had answered some things to the zoning, to the planning board, I believe, to Sonia. And we're looking for in Littleton Drive, we want grinder pumps because they keep the rags out of our system. They're not going to gravity to us because it's very dangerous. We set the precedent in our big developments like Woodland Cove that we want grinder pumps. That's why we put them in there because we got past the big rags. There's no sump pumps. I know there's wetlands, so there may be sump pumps. I'm not sure, but in that area, you want grinder pumps. So those are the kind of things we're discussing.
Mhm.
And so I just want the board to be aware. If you have any input, please, because these discussions are going to be ongoing, and I'll give you an FYI when I have them. But please understand that no decisions are being made. We're just discussing a bunch of things. I just
Okay.
want you to know that.
Go
Yeah,
ahead, Sandy.
Anytime, yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead, Sandy. Go ahead,
So-
Sandy.
At zoning last night, what they've plan to do is reverse phase 2 becomes phase 1 and phase 1 becomes phase 2 because of the issue over the occupancy of the motel.
That is correct.
So they're looking to cut into the force main, correct?
We have a gravity, it's a gravity main there. So they're looking
So
to,
that's a gravity main.
yes, ma'am. So they're looking to go upstream into the gravity main so they can leave the motel online for now so that people can stay there and then they can start their project. And then once they get the project started, they relocate people, et cetera, et cetera. Now they had come to us a while back to change it. And we said we couldn't do anything until they went to zoning. And they've obviously done that.
Yeah, but do we wait for them to be approved at zoning?
We do.
Okay, so then it's still work in progress.
Yes, because we can't do anything because this project is under zoning and we already agreed to the lateral that services the motel because they're supposed to demolish it. Things have changed and that's why.
Okay.
So we'll wait till everything's settled there and then we'll see what we're going to do.
I have a question, if you don't mind, on that. Did I read correctly that Dakota Company still doesn't even own that property yet officially?
They don't. They put a purchase and sale in, Donna. And so there's a lot of things that have to happen. I guess they're waiting for, they call them credits. They've got to get the money from the state, it comes from housing to actually do all this because it's a 40B project. So everything's on paper. They do purchase and sales with closing dates, et cetera, et cetera. So everything's out there, but there's no physical closing of the deal. It's like if you're going to buy a property to develop,
Yeah.
you put a purchase and sale on it. If you get the proper paperwork, the proper zoning, everything you need, then you tell the owner, I'd move forward to purchase it. Same concept here with that. So once that's all in place, then they'll make the physical purchase.
Is HUD funding this or mass housing?
It's mass housing.
Okay. Good luck.
Yeah, I know, huh? So that's why these projects take forever because just like Littleton Drive, they're in the same boat. It's a great project, but they got to wait for funding.
Yeah, I know.
So that's what that's all about.
I did that for 30 years.
Okay. So can we talk about Littleton?
Littleton?
Yes.
Sure.
Okay, Guy, in the documents you sent us earlier, Joe Henderson on November 13th sent Charles Adams a copy of the sewer commissioner's letter and wastewater flow estimate. Can we get a copy of that?
I'll look for it. I thought I sent one up, but I'll look for it.
Out with it.
Again, they
Then-
revise things. So yes, I'm surprised we don't have it.
Then after that, Ken says, I know you, being Charlie Adams, has already spoken with the commission folks. Is that us? And has prepared a memorization of what he was talked about. Is there anything there that we haven't seen yet?
I have not. I sent to the planning yesterday all the things I need in writing.
Okay, because Ken says on November 16th, he sends to you attached is more detailed information on the Littleton Drive housing, and that's November 16th.
There's no
And your response was, I'll forward this on to the sewer commissioners, and we never got it.
I'll look at that because there was no detail. It was just that they were going to do mixed housing and that type of information. It wasn't specific gallons because everything's been general, and we're trying to nail it down to what are they going to do for gallons, what are they going to do for sewer. I need sewer plans, et cetera, et cetera. Those are the details that we really need. But I'll give you what I have.
I got
can
the
just go back on
impression.
Ken's.
I got the impression at last night's zoning meeting that they had approval for sewer.
Well, they can
Because
get
they've
all
had
the,
because they've had a discussion with the sewer department.
they can have all the assumptions they want, Sandy. The only one
I'm
that can
just-
approve is the Board of Sewer Commissioners.
I'm
They can
just
make all the-
heads up, Guy. They think they have it. And I'm saying to everybody, the redevelopment authority, no one's come before us. It's unknown. And as far as I know, there's nothing happening.
Well, they
correct.
were told to make a formal presentation to the board. When
And
they
that
do that,
has-
they do that. So until that, Sandy, they can make all the assumptions they want, but they don't have authorization to tie in.
That was
They have to get
exactly
permits
my,
from us to tie in.
right. That was my concern too, Guy, when I read this.
Right.
He mentions he wants it memorialized. What
Nothing
memorialized?
memorialized. There's nothing memorialized.
I'm not getting it. And he's going through Ken. Well, Ken doesn't speak for us.
That's right.
Ken
The
doesn't
other thing-
speak
The
to
other
us.
thing that bothered me regarding fees, they're asking.
Yeah, they're asking to waive
reduce
them,
fees.
reduce them.
I'm not hearing it,
Well,
so,
it's the board's decision. So we'll get all the information we can, then go back and forth, and the board has to take all this information and make a decision. Nobody can make a decision. Now, remember, Littleton's been in the works for a long time. They put up RFQs. I mean, they moved along like they're going to do this.
right, well,
That's
I will say I got the same impression Sandy did.
I did too.
Yep.
Who's the firm behind it? Who's the engineering?
Pemrose.
Pemrose, okay.
Okay, the bottom line on this is they're out there playing their games, the various departments and all that should be coming to us in the very beginning and getting approvals on whether or not there's sewage available to them have never showed. There's been no discussion with this board
Right, I'm a little irritated
regarding
that
anything.
it would appear that planning or whoever seems to be
Well,
Redevelopment Authority.
inputting for us.
planning has been talked to before about bringing these plans ahead of time to us before anything is done. And obviously, there's a hearing problem.
Well,
Obviously,
we put a stop on it and they'll hear real quickly, won't they?
That's called
some of
a
this, they
moratorium.
really shouldn't even be wasting your time with it, Guy, till they come see us.
Exactly.
a
I
waste of
wouldn't
your
even
time.
talk to them. I wouldn't even talk to them until they come before us.
I think it's a waste of your time.
I agree, Mac.
So I'll go for 3. No. Okay, stick them on a back burner.
because we sent them a letter.
Okay, so I'm just going to ask for clarification. We have what, 2 or 3 projects that have come before us and we put it on hold? That place on Sandwich Road? The one on Red Brook?
That's correct.
Is there another one in which they've come before us and we've just told them nothing yet?
Those 2 that I'm aware of, and I know there's a third on Sandwich Road that's been, they presented. I don't think they sat in front of the boards yet.
Third on Sandwich Road.
Yes, there's 2 on Sandwich Road.
Okay,
Make 3.
okay, but they've not come before us.
No.
Okay, so there's only 2 that we've heard and we've told them not now.
That's correct.
Right, and then,
And Littleton knows that there's a moratorium. Everybody knows they can make assumptions, but there's a moratorium. And so they've not been heard and they've not been granted anything.
correct, I understand that.
Well,
Thank you.
I would hope that other boards will follow suit and respect our moratorium.
They don't
Well,
know.
whether they do or not, they've got to get a permit from this board to tie in.
Yeah, but what if these folks don't know the process and they're, my concern is that, people aren't being directed in the right, aren't being given the right direction.
This is a town project. And so if you're trying to tell me that the town itself doesn't know, I would find that hard to believe.
I'm not saying the town doesn't know.
Well, it's a town project.
I'm saying that the people themselves that are behind the projects aren't getting proper information.
Because they're hired by the town, hired by the board, and we've communicated with them. Again, I would suggest that the planning and everybody's aware, because we've said it, and so they should be educating their contractor as to
I
what.
agree. No, I agree, but, my concern is that they're not.
So the information should be either coming from the redevelopment authority if they're involved in it, or from Ken Buckland, one or the other. They should be explaining the whole process to them, what they should be going through and the steps they should take and the order they should go in it.
You think he's doing it?
If that's not being done, shame on them.
Do you think it's being done? That's my
Of course
question.
not.
The
Of
answer
course
is
not.
No.
Oh, they all know that the sewer works well because they flush the toilet and it disappears. That's the extent of their knowledge.
it flows.
Oh,
I wish we could flush some of them and make them disappear.
Now, you've got a good point there.
Of course I do.
Well, so to finalize it, the reason why I work with them and Woodland and everybody else is good faith. That's all, to keep projects going. There's no commitments being made. And that's why, like, when Woodland Cove calls or when Littleton calls, I'll do general conversations. It will be grinding pumps, the things have. So when they make their plans, because it takes years, that they're on the right track. Short of that, for me, it's just good faith to help people get what they need to get. But they know they can't connect. It's just not. And that's going to be a letter to the board and a meeting to sit down and present to the board what they're planning on doing, what their flow is, and get formal permission from the board to move forward.
Well, I think your direction, at least in having conversations with them, if they approach you, that's fine, but they need to go through the process, and they've got to understand,
Right.
that we don't have the capacity we're going to give out.
That's right. And so, whatever point, I don't know if it's wise to bring in front of the board before July. I think I had suggested wait till July, because, but that's going to be the board. If you want to see people before the moratorium or after the moratorium, that'll be direction from the board.
But I think we should take them in the order they came before us.
In July,
In July or now?
not now.
That's what I'm saying. That's my question. So if Middleton wants to present to the board today, next meeting, would that be something you want to do? Or you want to wait till July? That's all I'm asking.
I would like to wait till the July. That's what I would like to wait.
Then what happens if somebody comes up and makes a presentation before Littleton? Wouldn't they have priority over them because they came before us first?
I think what the situation we have is that how do we want to address items that will come up, that are sitting out there to come up, versus the ones that we have already addressed and they're in a moratorium, they're in basically a holding pattern until this moratorium ends.
The moratorium or not.
Do you want to continue? Wait a minute, Mac. Do you
Okay.
want to continue? If somebody new comes on board and they want to come in and make a presentation, should we allow that to happen? So as Sandy indicates, they're going to have, they're number 6 in line.
Yes.
And somebody else comes along and they're number 7 in line.
Do you agree?
And-
Do you agree, Jimmy, that to have any kind of a placeholder, you have to apply and be denied and with a note that we will reconsider after the basin project's done? And
That's the way I would look at it.
Go, Matt.
I mean, if somebody's going through the trouble of putting their package together to apply, we should at least give them the courtesy of hearing them
You're still on
and give them a placeholder
your phone?
so that when the
Just in case
moratorium
we
lifts,
lose.
we'll take them in order.
That's what we'll do. I'll send a letter out to them and the others.
I mean,
At least they should come in front of the board.
Guy, is that a problem on your end?
Yeah, I mean, Guy basically saying, we're not issuing any new commitments at this time.
That's correct.
We encourage you to apply
Okay.
for reconsideration when we can take a look at the improved system that we're currently working on, blah, blah, blah. You know what to do.
However,
Sounds good.
so let me just be clear on this. So we're not gonna listen to these folks until July, right?
No,
No, I want them to come in as soon as they can.
if they're ready, if they have a proposal and they want to come before us in January, that's fine. We're not going to give them an allocation, but they're going to be number in line
3.
when allocations are available.
We don't even know what's gonna be available.
Well, I understand that, but they'll at least have a placeholder and they'll be in line, whatever number they are.
You don't feel
be
that that's,
considered.
Consideration.
you don't feel that that's sending a mixed message. I'm just asking for,
Well, I don't think so, because I mean, I can envision that come July, the first meeting in July, assuming that the moratorium is ended, you've got 10 people making proposals in front of us. Now, everybody wants to get on the agenda. We want to listen to 10 of them in one night? I don't think so.
yeah.
I'd rather take them as they have their ducks in order, and we'll be able to determine whether or not they do have them.
I don't want to give people false hope. That's all I
It's
just don't
not
want,
false hope.
you know, we
Yeah,
don't,
it's like going to Disney World. You get in line.
well, eventually you get there in Disney World.
Well,
We don't know if folks are gonna be able to get there even now.
Well, they'll eventually get there, but we don't know when. That's all.
Okay.
Yes,
My only concern, Mr. Chairman, is
Yes,
contractors and engineers, et cetera, spending money to get to a point. That's why my suggestion was to say nothing into July, maybe put them on a list, but don't entertain and don't have them spend a lot of money because to present, they got to do plans, et cetera, that's a cost.
that's fine.
That's all I'm saying. That's my only concern. Because they're going to spend a ton of money to come in front of us.
Mine,
Then they don't even know what's going to happen, but it is what it is.
you know, I don't want to send a mixed
But
message.
it's fine, whatever.
I want people.
I understand what Guy's saying. Okay, go ahead, Sandy. Sandy,
Yes, my question is, can I get a confirmation whether or not a 40B must be given sewer? I've heard, no, they don't. I've heard, yes, they do.
Me
If there are
too.
40,
I've heard from the state housing that they have to. I heard from state DEP that they may, and I've also heard that they don't have to from the town of Marion. You tell me who's correct. I don't know.
I want to see it in writing. I want to see it in writing.
No, I don't have anything in writing.
we're in a moratorium, so the answer is
You find a state agency that puts things in writing.
okay,
Well, you don't get anything from us unless you get it in writing.
No, I get it.
You know, that's just the way it goes. And I mean,
But 40Ps go to zoning and they make all the decisions.
Well,
Technically.
all right. As
choice.
long
think we-
as,
we base our decisions on good faith for our ratepayers in the town of
Absolutely.
Wareham.
exactly.
And if you're gonna hang for that, good luck. I friggin' doubt it.
I agree.
okay,
There's no agenda here with these commissioners. We're not involved with any of this stuff. We're
Yes,
trying to do what's right for the system
Right.
and for the town.
I hear you.
okay.
And I couldn't
Well, I
agree.
really don't give a shit what the state says. And they can come and tell us we're
Amen.
wrong. I told you that. You come tell us we're wrong. You come tell us, and then you tell us how we're gonna pay for it.
I couldn't agree.
You wanna get into it, then get into it.
Okay. Oh, I'm in perfect agreement with you.
I think right now we need some kind of a disclaimer that we're not guaranteeing any gallonage
Right.
until we reassess the plant when the improvements are done. We're not issuing anything and we're not guaranteeing anything. So if you want to go spend your money on engineering, it's a crapshoot right now. That has to be made very clear.
I think that may be in the letter.
I didn't see that in any of this communication, and it starts with planning.
Mhm.
I
You're
did,
giving them the wrong idea.
I think they're giving false hope to
I don't
people.
want to see Guy burdened with this crap either right now.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
We'll deal with it after July.
I agree 100% after July.
And you know, looking at this communication, evidently they are spending some money and they probably shouldn't. You can chit chat all you want. I wouldn't
Exactly.
be hiring engineers right now.
Oh, they are. They've got plans. They got site
Well,
plans.
I'm sure they do. And that's how they bully it through.
They do.
They're not going to bully us.
Like I said, let the state tell you we're wrong. They can tell us we're wrong. Fine.
I've had better people tell me I'm wrong.
Ah,
You betcha.
Daily.
Doubt it.
Okay, what else, Guy? Now you've stirred up a hornet's nest. Go ahead.
Yeah, I
Keep
know.
going.
I got nothing else. I'm done. I want nothing else.
oh, Guy, we still love you. You know that.
Yes, yes.
It's just getting too controversial. So we have 3 people out with that are being tested for COVID. And so we're running a light staff. And so we're following all the protocols that's needed, human resources involved and et cetera, et cetera. So again, some things, Lee's been out, should be out for a while. And so some things are going to be left by the wayside. So they have 4 people actually. So just want the board to be aware, we may not get things in a timely manner in the proper documentation, only because we're really staffed. But other projects all projects are moving along. The basins are coming along great. They're really doing a good job. Miracle is complete. I told you that before, but now we're doing the final review of all the video. We're re-looking at every single line to make sure it's acceptable. We cambered everything after the fact. We're looking at all payroll documents, making all those, right decisions. Then we'll finalize the deal before we authorize payment. And so we're still in the middle of that. That's part of the process. So everything else is, our permit's fine. We've got a new lab tech that's doing great. We've got a new maintenance manager that is doing great. So yeah, we're in good shape, and we'll just get past this bump in the road because of COVID protocol. I just wanted the board to be aware. That's all I really have. There's nothing.
Could you update us on any happenings with the drilling? Climbed off.
Well, I see. Let me just look. That's not a controversial one. Yeah, we can talk about that. So they'll be here next Wednesday, and what they're doing now is they're going to walk and drive all the proposed layout. So we're going to drill from the plant all the way up into Onset Ave, wherever it's going to be towards the water, and then back underneath, come up by the canal. So we're going to literally spend the day touring, literally physically seeing all what's there, what buildings, etc. While and right between now and then, they're gathering all the aerial data, all the data, GIS, all the things they need in place. And we make that tour next week, and we can actually plug everything in to make sure we get the good route. So that's all being done now. I think we're meeting 10 o'clock, and we're just going to go the entire process. So if anybody's out and about, that's where we'll be. You're more than welcome to come. And anything, I mean that sincerely. We're doing the base, and stop by. It's good to see. Really, it is. Stop by. And if anybody's never stopped by and say hi to our new lab tech. It's kind of important. It really is. Introduce yourselves and see what they're doing. And they need to know that you guys are behind them, and if you get a chance. So those kind of things that we need to do. But yes, we start next Wednesday at 10 o'clock. That project is kicked off, and we're going to give it back. And the goal is to get to the canal by directional drilling, and the new process is to do 10,000 feet, which is phenomenal. So this is going to be exciting stuff.
You get support for this. Money wise.
Interesting. Moving forward, we're excited. We really are. I mean, we know it's going to be, I mean, anytime you do wastewater projects, they're not cheap, for lack of a better word. And if you want some ideas, look at the Cape, Harwich and Yarmouth. And I mean, they're putting sewers in, and look at the budgets.
I know.
But it needs to be done. We look at our infrastructure. I look at what we need to spend for force mains. We're getting ready to do the evaluation of Hines. We know that's going to be in comparable condition to Narrows, and if not worse. And so that's got to be spent. And we look at our pump stations. Electrical contractors need to come in and do the lighting, and it just goes on and on and on and on. And we know that funding is not the easiest. We don't have a lot of money, but these things have to be done. It's my dog. He's barking at something, but they have to be done. So we got to figure out how to do them. As simple as that. Cody, knock it off.
If you fed him, he wouldn't be doing that.
I know. I can't feed him. He eats too much. He's expensive. But relax. Get down. Relax. You get that.
That's a big dog.
Oh, he's 120 pounds. He's a good sized animal.
You should put him on the screen. He's better looking.
I know. I've been told that many times. My neighbors, when I walk my dogs, oh, he's so cute. I start to get all excited. I said, no, the dog. So yeah, I get it. But yeah, we're doing our very best because these things have to be done. And I know I talked to a taxpayer today. We went on and on and on, but and we're talking about the article. And I assured them that the article this week, we're not adding rates. It's coming out of our capital, and we're going to spend the money for this for the $9 million. It's not going to cost the ratepayers 1 penny more in their rates. But I did tell them that eventually, sir, like everything else, I mean, we get expenses increased 3 to 4% a year. You would think we'd have to match our expenses. That's just as simple as that. And so I want you to know that it isn't forever. And we do our very best to keep costs down, but things are expensive. And so that's the reality, and we'll have to address it. I think at one of these meetings, we're going to talk about septage and pricing, all that good stuff, and setting the rates because, you know, we're gonna be billing all that good stuff. So that'll come up, but that's
Well,
new budget is written. I've got a preliminary budget. I'll give you a copy of that.
Can we tell them that we won't go up on the rates if they'll only use half as much in the sewer system?
That's
If they
dangerous.
if they disconnect their sub pump.
That's dangerous because the cost, it's funny, it's hard to understand, but you know, if you use half, it doesn't lower the cost that tremendously. Electricity may go down a penny here or there because of pump uses, but everything else is continual. It's kind of crazy. And the other thing, it's kind of comical. I'll let you go. This will be the last thing I say, but we've got this big thing about conserve water. We want to do water use based billing, conserve water. So what happens if you conserve water? You got less billable gallons. Well, if you get less billable gallons, how do you pay the bills?
You increase the base rate. Yeah,
I got a
increase the
question
base-
for you.
Yes.
If you're looking at, what'd you say, maybe 3 to 4% increase per year?
Absolutely, at
What
least.
you're doing there? How come my property taxes are going up like 12 or 15% every
Well,
year?
that's right. I think it should be,
What's the deal? What's the deal, Donna?
Malcolm, I think it should be more. I really do, but
It's a lot.
it should be an annual increase because we've got so much to do and the money's got to flow in. And I know and we're conditioned, right? Our taxes go up routinely. It's, you know,
Must be.
water bills go up routinely. We're conditioned. Why can't sewer go up routinely?
That's what I said, guys. It should go, our board is so tight. It's ridiculous. And we have at least 3% or whatever the cost of living. And our board is reluctant to go on an increase every year. I don't understand it. The expenses are going up. How do you
Absolutely.
pay for it?
It's just the way it is. I just
They should take
we should consider it. Only because it's getting, and we've got a lot ahead of us. Just look at I tell you, look at what we got ahead of us. It's going to be a lot of money. We're going to spend a lot of money. Force mains are about $8 million a piece. We're going to do a $9 million project now. You know, we're going to float some debt on probably realistically maybe 20-something million dollars in the next 2-3 years. And that doesn't stop there. So yeah, we got to consider it. It's crazy.
Well, the plus side too is that John just floated a bond for that 1.6
1.6,
at a 0.5%.
0.5%, and we're spending, it's about $180,000 a year.
140.
And then it'll go down once, but it's 180 a year, and that's coming out of capital this year. So there'll be no increase in budget and you know, so everything's coming out. We're looking at the big picture. 1.6 he floated, and we got a terrific rate. If I had known that, I wouldn't have stopped at 1.6. I mean, that's like, come on, let's keep going. That's a terrific rate.
Oh, fantastic rate.
Incredible rate. We can't even get that through the SRF funding. They're 2% and up. This is a 0.5%.
Yeah.
You know, why are we going to SRF funding? Well, I don't know. But anyways, that's incredible. When he told me the numbers, I had to look twice. I said, wait a minute, that's got to be a mistake. It's got to be 5%, not a 0.5%.
No, it's 0.5%.
0.5%.
That's awesome.
So Guy, you're kicking off the study of the directional boring next week
Wednesday at 10 o'clock.
at the plant?
Yeah, we're going to start the plant, yes, and then we'll start going out into we'll drive around.
Okay.
Because right now they're collecting all the data, all the borings and everything that, you know, the layout that we talked about for, you know, the railroad and Route 6 and 28, all the comparisons. So all that's been fed to them now. We're feeding them that information. They'll put it all together and we'll actually walk it to get some. So they got to see exactly what's there, and then they can complete their study as to, you know, the feasibility and the cost of us going there. So it's all part of the plan. Yeah, kicks off Wednesday at 10.
So while you're looking at the data, can we look at the data?
Yeah, the data. Yeah,
The data.
data. Yes. Yeah. It's data. Well, I thought if I could change my accent, I may get a shot earlier because I already give them in England. I thought maybe they would. Hey, we'll get one.
Okay. Sump pumps.
They're still pumping.
They're still pumping. Okay. Stone Path.
Did you get a meeting?
Yes, I had a meeting. Got the what the hell was it you gave me to give them, Guy?
Industrial permit.
The industrial permit. They said they will fill that out and get back to us and we'll go from there.
I think we need to stay on top of them.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. No
So-
question.
I don't mean, oh yeah, I mean, really.
I just don't want them to sneak the kitchen in, because that's in the works.
Yeah, I know that, and it's gonna,
Commercial kitchen, they're getting ready to put one in.
So what did Mark have to say?
The kitchen that we're talking about is, they're looking at essentially leasing that space to this guy Dan, who's a caterer.
Mankey
Right.
Brothers.
Minkle. Dan
No,
Minkle.
Yep.
Stone Path can't lease it because they don't own the building.
thank you.
The owner of the building is looking to lease to the
Mankey Brothers.
Minkle brothers.
Gee, because I thought Stone Path purchased the building.
No?
I thought they did.
I don't think they did.
I thought
No.
they did, but that's good to know. I thought they did.
Because Minkle is a caterer. He lost his place to cater. And the
Yeah.
space there that's unused, that he wants to put the kitchen in there for catering only.
We gave.
Well,
Well,
that's a misconception, because I met with him. He wants to not only do the catering, he wants to sell food to the people that go to the Stone Path.
Exactly.
It's a double-edged thing here. I was very specific in the questions I was asking him. Those are the details I look for. And I asked him, okay, well, you need to tell me there's no grease traps there. There's none of that. It's going to go to the system. How are you going to get it there? I need those before I even consider it.
They want to do functions there, I'm telling you right now.
No, I'm telling you, and he admitted it. He said, yeah, well, he was very, very open about it.
So Jimmy, talk to us about what you and Mark had to say. How did the meeting go?
Well, from his standpoint, he wanted just me to talk to Minkle. He wanted to kind of stay out of it because Minkle is the one that's wants. the
Yeah, he
kitchen
should
in there.
stay out of it.
He was staying out of it. Would they use his stuff? Yes. To do an a la carte business in there? No. That's not what the thrust is. The thrust is primarily for Minkle to have a prep kitchen to do his catering out of.
So
And
I'm going to go
question-
back to,
the first question I had for him was, grease traps, because you're gonna need big ones. I mean, with the equipment that he's got in there, he doesn't have, he's got basically production equipment in there
Yeah.
for catering. Doesn't really appear to be gung-ho for a la carte.
So you're wrong. I think you're wrong there.
Well, I could be, but.
I
I've
know
been
you
on
are.
before.
You go up there often?
No, not at all.
I have been up there.
I don't go in there at all.
I'm telling you right now, I'm telling you, they're not playing by the rules and they're not following. I'm telling you right now. Keep a close eye.
They're running a restaurant with a bar.
Yes, we are.
Okay,
Guy, you know what they're doing.
I have an idea. It's a long haul for me.
No, they do.
They kind of do it. We'll leave it at that. Yes, I know exactly. what
Right?
they do.
Come on, Guy. You know I'm right.
Well, I'm concerned about, that's why we've been discussing for so long. It's just that my issue is following protocol procedure and all that stuff. It doesn't get done. It just doesn't get done.
They show up on our agenda every single month and nothing gets done. Am I right, Mac? Mac,
Probably.
what?
well, we'll see if they come back with the,
stay out of there.
Yeah.
that form. See if they come back with that and we'll go from there.
Yes.
Am I
Yeah.
right?
I haven't been anywhere near that stuff, so
Oh, you gotta go up there. You gotta go up there.
haven't been up there.
They're nice folks. They're really nice folks. Don't get me wrong. They are awesome folks. But I'm telling you right now,
All right, well,
you know,
stay on top of it. Definitely stay on top of it. I'm not.
well, I want to get into it. I don't want to just stay on top of it. I want to get into but you make sure they're doing things right.
I think that's one and the same.
Mr. Chairman, may I add
Yes,
something
ahead.
real quick?
Yeah.
I hate to interrupt. I was just actually looking at the agenda for the next Board of Selectmen meeting, and there is a line item to adopt the hazard mitigation plan on the agenda.
Good.
all right.
Very good,
It was modified today.
good.
Where is it?
Randy, why'd you get so excited?
You have to look at the new one, Dan.
Oh, this,
Why
sorry,
don't
the
you-
one I printed out doesn't have it.
You just like
Okay.
to stir the pot.
Well, the
Yeah,
one I have doesn't have it.
Well, if you get the current one instead of using the stuff from last week,
Yeah, I'm sorry. I used the one from 4 PM.
that's
maybe,
what I said, last week. You
Nice
used
to
last
give it back.
week's instead of this week's.
maybe you
There's a 4:30 one.
So I missed the 4:30 one.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, boy.
with the selectmen, Sandy.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay, so
Sandy,
what?
Sandy,
What?
you'd be further ahead if you had an opportunity once in a while to meet with the selectmen and talk with them. Do you know anybody?
Yeah, yeah.
Remember, I promised at the capital planning meeting that his birthday, his Hanukkah present would be, I wouldn't talk to him tonight.
Yeah, but you're not talking to him. You're talking at him. There is a difference.
So different.
Oh, hello. Oh, there's Alan. Look at, he had something done to his hair.
His hair, he don't have any hair.
I thought it was him
I
there.
don't have any hair.
Oh,
I thought that was him in the picture a second ago.
oh.
Motion to adjourn?
No, not yet. Nice try.
Right.
Ready for that one, Mac? You stole my
Okay,
thunder.
we got homes not connected to town sewer. We've got that list,
Here's an update.
an update, and for those of you that didn't get the packet, what it translates into is there's 53 homes, which is down from, what do we have, 80 something
I
before?
think we started 87, 88, something like
Yeah.
that. Yes.
You're doing well.
So we're down to 53. Of that, just a quick analysis here, 12 people decided not to pick up their notices.
Okay.
What's the difference between undeliverable and not picked up?
Undeliverable, you send it out and the mailman says we can't deliver it and they send it back to us.
Yeah,
And not picked up is,
it's in their box, but they
In their
don't.
box and it stays there forever. Because you don't have to pick anything up in your mailbox. You can leave it there.
so 20 of them received their notice, so we should be having 20 hookups soon.
Well, we should. We should.
Theoretically, we hope so. But you got 33 that have.
But I
decided
said
to-
6 of them were vacant.
Yeah. So,
And one Frank's Way was just recently done.
which one?
One Frank's Way.
Okay.
What?
So at least the plus side of this is we are making progress.
We are.
They're not all beating down our door to connect tomorrow, but we are making progress and we've made good progress, I think.
I
I
think
noticed in the packet, the name was covered up.
I don't want to know names. I don't want to, so it just, the name shouldn't go out there. We had an issue with an individual that was on this list and the name got out there and they sold a house and there's a controversy. You know, I just don't want names out there.
Will you do me a favor and ask her to hide that column? Because I removed the sticker and I now have the names.
Oh, no way.
Yeah,
You're supposed to leave things there. You can't just do things that you want to do. Oh,
Tell her to
man.
hide the-
Put it there so you can see it.
tell her to hide the
I'm gonna have
column.
to because you
I
sneak.
can't,
You sneak. I'm gonna tell that you snuck, that we gotta take it out.
Sandy,
I peeked under the cover.
Oh, man, that you weren't supposed to peek. Why we
Sandy,
put it over there?
What?
Sandy, you could have taken your phone with the flashlight on it and held it behind there and read them.
that's right.
I didn't try that.
Yes.
Okay, we'll actually delete the column. We will. We'll get rid
There
of it.
you go.
The column needs to be hidden in the picture.
Yeah, we'll get rid of it. So there's no way, I don't want the names out there.
Jim, where are we with the agenda?
We are at
We're on-
EDU rates, new business. EDU rates, we know where we are with that.
Yeah, Hey,
No, what is happening? What happened to them? I thought they were going to help us get our numbers, but
Who?
Patrick hasn't said a thing to
Who?
the selectmen.
I'm sorry, who?
Patrick,
Who?
our liaison,
Our liaison.
has never said a word to the selectmen about us requesting help.
Yeah. What's going on with that?
Oh, that's a very good question. I guess I'll have to chase him down and see where he is, if he is. Is he
Set it
still in
up.
town?
Blowing smoke almost.
Yeah, he
well,
made a big point about we not doing our jobs, and we asked for help, and he hasn't said a thing to the selectmen.
Yeah. Thank you.
okay.
I have one question on the new business too.
Yes.
My question is, I don't understand what the situation, if I can just get a brief scenario of what's happening with the Fairway Village area with all the smells and stuff.
Oh, okay. So what's happening? I met with the town hired, who they hire? Weston and Sampson to do an evaluation. They were out there last week.
Okay.
And so they agree that there needs to be some type of metering
Yep.
into that wet well. They also talked about changing the pump rate because it goes stagnant depending on flow rate. We talked about cleaning the force main, getting that clean because a lot of materials in that. And we also talked about, I ordered a monitor for the manhole that's going to be it's going to consistently monitor H2S. So all that's put in place, and Bourne is moving forward on doing their part. The engineers are working on it as we speak.
Well, that was my question. Is Bourne taking responsibility for their part?
They are. They
Okay.
are. As we speak, they're actually,
Are we communicating with them like we should be?
we are.
Okay.
Jimmy.
That was my question.
Yes. Mac.
you all set, Donna?
Good question.
Okay.
I have a question.
I'm never on.
Did you have a chance to talk to council or anybody about sewer commitments we've made that are been unused for a long time?
I haven't gotten any answer from Rich yet. I'll go back at him again this week.
Yeah, well, you know how I feel. It's not a
Yeah,
good way
I
to
know.
run a business, you know,
I agree with you.
and I would just hang my hat on that.
Should we have an application fee?
Should we?
Well, we don't. People can apply for sewer. Should there be like most things have an application because there's a process. We have to
Exactly.
meet with them. We have to do paperwork. There should be an application.
Yeah.
Something to consider. Should there be an application fee?
Well, what do you think why don't you give us a cost of what you think it is to follow through with somebody that applies for a thing? How much of your time does it take, and how much does it cost, so we can pass
I'll
it?
do that.
Huh?
I'll do that. I will actually do it physically and see what the time is, what the lady's time is. And we'll put a cost to it.
And
Probably a good idea, Guy. I mean, you can go residential and or commercial.
Right.
Exactly, and I think that once we have that established, we can fairly assess a cost to a permit.
Now that would come under, we'd have to have a policy, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
I would think so. I think it would be the safest way to do it.
I agree with that. I do.
And I think we should definitely look into doing that.
Before we end, can I ask who's going to be at town meeting on Saturday to present our $9 million article?
That guy with the pretty hat, the guy that's got the nicest hat in the room.
Russ said he'll be
So
there. But he
Russ,
was
you'll
hoping-
be there?
Yes, but he was hoping you take the lead, Sandy. That's what he said to me anyways. He said he'd be there, but he's hoping you take the lead. So
And he'll back you
he'll
up.
be there to back you up. That's how I understood it.
He'll be
Yeah,
down
way
at
back.
he'll be down at Stevie B's backing you up.
Now,
Is it,
who's going to present that for the sewer department? I think that's important.
Russ,
Sandy.
Russ is.
Russ and Sandy, that's good.
Jim, stop saying my name.
No, seriously, Sandy, are you going to back Russ up?
No, Russ is,
I
I'm
will
gonna be
ask,
there.
I will ask the moderator if Russ can speak to the article.
I will be there. I'll be
Oh,
there.
you are coming, Jimmy?
Yeah.
Unless you fall down?
Yeah, you take things one step at a time. You know, don't,
Absolutely.
you know, I don't take,
I think he said he's leaving like 8 in the morning. I'm not so sure, but it may be,
So Jimmy, if I don't see you, I will ask the moderator to put Russ on.
if I see.
Where is town meeting this now?
Veterans VFW under the pavilion at 12 o'clock.
Outside?
Yes,
Yeah.
under the pavilion.
High noon.
What the?
It's the only place they can put us.
actually, it's a
And
good idea.
honestly,
Safest.
we'll be done in 30 minutes.
It's probably the safest spot that I can give right now.
The pavilion in Onset?
Yeah, at the
Park
VFW.
Ave or whatever
At the
they call it.
VFW.
VFW.
The VFW,
Ballpark.
Ballpark Ave.
How many people are gonna go to this?
Both
50.
of them.
All we need is one.
Don't need that.
You don't even need one. It's a zero quorum.
The zero quorum,
Right.
so.
The moderator can be the only quorum.
The town clerk.
Clerk.
That's
But I think there'll be some people there. I mean,
terrible.
Oh, yeah.
Really terrible. I'm
it's gonna be
sorry
in and out. It's gonna be quick.
to hear that.
It's only money articles. I understand. I will when we get there, so. And we have to have it.
Only
Indoors are dangerous.
Should be short.
Do the ratepayers, do the taxpayers understand that? That's
Well,
up,
Yes.
It's been
Well,
out
they've
there.
been told. I don't know what they
in the paper.
understand. They've been told.
They've been told. So
I didn't know it.
been in the paper and
Yes, it's been in the paper, it's been advertised, and she's explained it, why. She's done a good job explaining why because we have to have it, and this is a good place, trying to keep everybody safe. There's a lot going on with COVID, it's rising in Wareham, et cetera, et cetera. I think she's done a good job to explain it, and hopefully people read it
Okay.
And so where do they get it to read it?
in the newspapers.
Where?
I got it in the Wareham Week for sure. I read that every week. It's online, Wareham Week online. They have a blog online. They do the so it's up there.
I understand.
The town website has been covered by the selectmen.
Okay.
Guy, when will the documents be ready for signatures for the minutes and contracts tomorrow?
Ooh. First,
Did you want to
as soon as we get there, work on the first thing.
come with you? What did he say?
Tell him to repeat it. Can't hear.
What did you say?
I
Hey,
wanted
Bob,
to
can you run
know,
that back again? No, I'm just kidding.
when will the minutes and contracts be available tomorrow for signature? 3 of us must come in and sign.
So the contracts I'll get ready as soon as first thing in the morning.
Well, what time can we come in?
I would come in around 9 because we get there at 7:30.
Okay.
Give us a couple hours.
I can certainly make it. I don't know, Mac, are you available or not available? I mean, I can,
I'll be in there anyhow. I go in there.
And I can go in, so that's,
so that's 3.
Yeah, so I'll
Still
have
working,
to,
Donna, still working.
No, I understand that. That's why I asked you, Mac.
Yeah,
it's
I
supposed to be a
know.
great
I
day,
know.
Matt. Good day for fishing. You know, it's a good day for hooking, you know.
Is it time for a motion to adjourn yet?
I was waiting for you, Donna.
I'm trying.
We've been waiting for you, Donna, for the last.
Come on,
half hour.
Donna.
I make a motion that we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And our next meeting is on the
Good night.
15th.
Thanks, Alan.